Now, some of the area's best-known local radio stations will soon be no more. Radio City in Liverpool, Rock FM in Lancashire and Signal Radio in Cheshire are being scrapped so the stations can become part of national brands. And as Phil McCann reports, more change could be on the way.
Radio City has grown up with Merseyside, and Merseyside has grown up with Radio City. They've been together through the area's highs and lows since 1974.
It had a huge audience, and I think that name, it just resonates with people, you know, Radio City.
It's been here forever, so it's part of the culture, isn't it?
Everybody knows from Liverpool that it's Radio City. It's not, you can change a name, but it's just not the same for Liverpool people.
And they are changing the name. From next month, nearly 50 years after it began, this station will become Hits Radio Liverpool.
It's a big change for Liverpool.
I'd rather it just stayed the same.
Why?
Because Liverpool's unique.
Yeah. Still listen to it every day?
Every day, it just hasn't left the house.
And will you still listen to it when it changes its name?
Probably, yeah.
Tony Snelly, was a Radio City presenter in the 80s and 90s. He's now to be heard on BBC Radio Merseyside.
The name has been so ingrained in the city for so many years. It was almost like, it was like a relative leaving home in a funny kind of way, you know.
That's our song.
Signal Radio in Cheshire and Rock FM in Lancashire will also become part of Hits Radio. In fact, over the last 15 years, all of the region's commercial FM stations set up between the 70s and 90s have become part of a few big national brands, except these two in Cheshire. But there have been more than name changes.
Good morning, it's Marcher Sound broadcasting on 238 metres.
Since the days of all-day-long local commercial radio broadcasting, now just 4 hours a day have to be local. And local can now mean regional, meaning those 4 hours on stations like this one set up for Blackpool are the same as lots of others in the northwest. But they do have to retain local news bulletins, weather and travel news.
So the competition for advertising has got much tighter. So if you're a local businesswoman or plumber, you could end up just making your own Instagram posts. You don't have the expense of going to local radio. Impact of that is those local radio stations aren't getting the revenue to keep operating.
And the BBC has recently merged the output of groups of its local radio stations for part of the day. Instead, it's redirected money into local online news and podcasting. Bauer Radio, which owns Radio City, says transforming into a nationally recognised brand will give the station potential to grow.
It's Friday morning, good morning.
But a new wave of smaller-scale, digital-only commercial radio stations have been licensed by the regulator Ofcom.
I think people that are on the radio station know what's going on in their area, so as opposed to somebody in London doesn't know what's going on in Chorley or in Wigan or, example, anywhere really.
Good morning, you're listening to Century 105.
So a lot's changed since the 90s, and a lot may be about to change. Proposed legislation would sweep away that requirement for 4 hours a day of regional programmes. The government says it'd remove unnecessary red tape. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight.
Oh, it does take me back. I started my broadcasting career at Signal Radio in Cheshire, so it's a shame, isn't it?